What's good, y'all? I'm Stats with Evan, and I'm back to give you my predictions for every game on Week 12 of the NFL slate. Now, first off, I know what y'all are thinking, but Evan, this isn't Thursday. Why are you dropping these picks now? And it's because the first Thanksgiving game kicks off at 12:30, and honestly, I do not trust myself to be awake before then, so I figured I might as well just go ahead and drop them a day early. So, without further ado, we getting into it. This week, we're going to start with our first Thanksgiving game, the Houston Texans taking on the Detroit Lions. These are two teams that should probably be turning their attention to the NFL draft right about now. The Texans pulled off a nice win last week, but at 3-7, it might be a little bit too little too late. And the Lions had a golden opportunity to sneak into the playoff picture last week in Carolina, but they squandered it. Add on to the Lions' numerous injuries to key players, and I'm going with Houston 31-14 over Detroit. Up next, we got the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys. Suddenly, this one looks pretty interesting, which is only right for one of the league's greatest rivalries. Washington's defense did enough for them to win last week against the Bengals, which is similar to what the Cowboys' offense did in Minnesota. However, on the other side of this coin is a Washington offense and a Cowboys defense that still have struggled mightily. I went back and forth a lot in my head, but at the end of the day, I think I'm going to tell Washington to get the brooms out. Washington wins it 24-21. And now we got our Thanksgiving nightcap, the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know both teams' records and how they've been performing lately, but in a rivalry game like this, all of that goes out the window. I pointed over here because there's a window right to my left. But anyway, on paper, these two have some of the most fearsome defenses in the league, but this is going to come down to depth. And honestly, the Steelers are the healthier team on both sides of the ball right now. So, with that being said, Pittsburgh, go ahead and get the brooms out. Steelers win at 31-27. And now we move to the 1 o'clock slate. First up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Atlanta Falcons. All right, first things first. With both teams featuring prominent offenses and suspect defenses, expect points and plenty of them down in the dirty South. This one may very well come down to who has the ball last. And while the Raiders haven't pulled off a fourth quarter comeback yet this season, that's not to say that they can't, especially against a team that's blown as many leads as the Falcons have. In conclusion, I'll say that for the first time since 2000, the Raiders beat the Falcons. Vegas wins at 34-20. Up next, we got the Los Angeles Chargers and the Buffalo Bills. Okay, this one's open and shut. While Justin Herbert looked like a star quarterback last week, it's kind of hard not to look like a star when you're playing the Jets. Now, the Bills also have their star quarterback in Josh Allen, and they have a defense that's come through in the clutch more times than not, unlike the Chargers. Short, sweet, and to the point, Buffalo rolls in this one 38-13 over LA. Up next, we got the New York Giants and the Cincinnati Bengals. This one's not going to be pretty to watch. The Giants have been on a roll ever since their Monday night game against the Bucs, and the Bengals in this time period have not been. The Giants' defense has also quietly improved as the season went along, while the Bengals, at this point, I just don't know what I can say other than, they're a rebuilding team. I didn't expect a lot more of them, but still. Additionally, as weak as the NFC East is, the Bengals have not won a game against the NFC East yet this season. Not much more needs to be said. New York takes it 27-10 over Cincinnati. Up next, we got the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. Don't look now, guys, but this one might be a playoff preview, because if the season ended today, these two would meet in the first round of the playoffs. But with both teams having played overtime games last week, this one's going to come down to endurance. Which team has just enough to push them over the finish line? But over the course of the season, since this game is going to require toughness, nobody has proven their mental and physical toughness in 2020 quite like the Colts have. So, Indianapolis, get the brooms out. Colts win at 24-20. Up next, we got the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings. I exaggerate absolutely nothing when I say this is the last chance for both teams, and the loser's season is effectively over. Between the two, the Panthers offense finds new ways to surprise me every week, but the Vikings still seem to have the edge in this category. Considering neither team has a particularly strong defense, that might just be enough to win this game, so I'm going with Minnesota 34-27 over Carolina. Up next, we got the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots. This one's pretty straightforward. The Patriots had a golden opportunity to actually get back into the playoff picture last week, but since they couldn't pull it off against a 2-7 Texans team, a playoffs without the Patriots seems inevitable, so we might as well just go ahead and get ready right now. The Cardinals are a sounder team both offensively and defensively, so I'm going with Arizona 28-13 over New England. Up next, we got the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. All right, this one's open and shut. The Dolphins are a much better team across the board than the Jets are, and now the Dolphins have the additional advantage of urgency, seeing as how they need this one badly to stay in the thick of the playoff race. Short, sweet, and to the point, Miami? Why don't you go ahead and get the brooms out? Dolphins win at 37-10. Up next, we got the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, I know what this looks like on paper. A Browns stomp. But when I take a closer look at this matchup, I'm noticing the Browns offense still has trouble scoring. Case in point, they only scored 13 points last week. And for the third week in a row, the Jaguars are playing the role of a trap game because the Browns go to Tennessee next week. So with all this in mind, I think I'm going to go ahead and make this my upset of the week and take Jacksonville 27-17 over Cleveland. And now we move to the 4 o'clock slate. First up, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Denver Broncos. Okay, this one's pretty straightforward. Yes, the Broncos looked impressive last week, but they'll need to score more than 20 points to beat the Saints. And add on, this is a Saints defense that hasn't allowed that many points since week 8. And since then, they faced offenses in Tampa and the Falcons that are much more potent than the Broncos. Case in point, they both beat the Broncos. In conclusion, I'm saying that for the first time since 1994, New Orleans beats Denver. Saints win at 27-14. Up next, we got the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. While the Niners season continues to trend downhill, the Rams finally showed me the consistency I've been looking for this whole season. Now that they've proven they can string together back-to-back good games, the sky is the limit down there in Hollywood. Not much more needs to be said. San Francisco, put them brooms down. Rams win at 31-24. Up next, we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, the Chiefs look like the world beaters that we painted them out to be as is fitting for a Super Bowl champion. But the Bucs, all of a sudden, they don't look so high and mighty. Not after what I saw on Monday night. And honestly, while the Rams defense is better than the Chiefs defense, Kansas City's defense has proven time and time again that they can get the stops they need just like anybody else. So with all this being said, I'm going to go with Kansas City 38-20 over 10. And now we got our Sunday night game. This week we got the Chicago Bears taking on the Green Bay Packers. Can y'all believe it took until week 12 for us to get a Bears-Packers game? Because that is some 2020 energy right there. As for the game in question, the Packers have a chance to all but lock up the NFC North on the frozen tundra, and their opponent is a reeling Bears team that's all of a sudden lost 4 straight. But like I said earlier, none of that means anything in a rivalry game. This one's likely going to come down to who has the final blow, and I think that's going to be the Packers. I'm going with Green Bay 28-24 over Chicago. And last but not least, we got our Monday night game. This week we got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a matchup between 2 first-place teams, but it's probably not going to play out like that. The Eagles are a team in absolute turmoil who are only in first place because A, they play in the NFC East, and B, because they have a tie on their record. Notice how the Giants, Washington, and the Cowboys are all exactly half a game behind these dudes. The Seahawks defense is beatable, but so is the Eagles. Plus, it just feels right to pick the Seahawks on week 12, so I'm going with Seattle 34-17 over Philadelphia. That's my picks. Which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you disagree with? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, I'm Stats with Evan, and I hope you have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Eat a lot of turkey for me, I guess. I ain't really have a way to end this, so bye, I guess.